Hey everybody, I just wanted to go over some of the Le Chatelier's practice problems, and so we're going to go over 15.66 in this textbook. You can find a picture of this page in here, and you can do all sorts of stuff, but 15.66. Okay, so that's this one here, okay, chapter 15. Okay, so we have methanol. And methanol is commercially produced using this reaction. And then it says calculate the delta H. This we don't know how to do yet, so we'll skip that. But what we know is that delta H for this reaction, delta H is negative. Okay, so that's what we're going to stick with. Okay, now the next two questions are talking about maximizing the yield. So let's go to our page and let's try to maximize the yield. So CO2, oh, I'm sorry, I don't think it's CO2. Yeah, it's CO. Okay, so it's CO. Get rid of that, CO, gas, plus 2H2 gas is in equilibrium with CH3O8. Not O2. OH. This is why I don't edit my videos, because I think it's important to see that sometimes I can even make mistakes. Not trying to sound cocky. Sometimes I make mistakes. I catch them, and it's fine. Okay, so there. And this is a gas too. So the idea is we want to maximize the yield. So for maximizing the yield, what are we trying to produce? I think that it's important that we understand the reaction, or the question. So if we're going to maximize the yield, we're looking to make as much methanol as possible. Okay? So if we're looking to make as much methanol as possible, we want the reaction to shift to the right as much as we can. So part B says, to maximize the equilibrium yield of methanol, would you use high or low temperature? Well, I gave you that the delta H for this is negative. So if it's a negative delta H, that means that heat is being released in the reaction. And so that means that heat is on the product side. So now the question asks if we do this at a high or low temperature. Okay? Well, we want to shift it this way. So now we're kind of doing a reverse Le Chatelier's principle problem. So we want this guy to go down, because what's going to happen is the reaction will shift to the right to fill this void that is left by the lack of heat. So for part B, we want to, so the heat is going to decrease. We want to do this at low, and I'm just going to put capital T, okay? Low T. There it is. Now, the other question says, should we do it at high or low pressure? Okay. Well, remember, Le Chatelier's principle states that if you increase the pressure, it's going to shift to the side that has the smaller pressure. So by increasing the pressure, that means you're going to increase all of these things, okay? And the reaction then is going to shift this way. If you decrease the pressure, the reaction is going to stay this way, because the products that are formed are going to want to move backward, okay? So you want to do this at high pressure, because you want to have the reaction shift away from the increase in pressure. And so for part C, you're going to do it at high pressure. Okay? So that's how to do question 15.66.